Welcome back. So today, I'm moving the shop. The first day of actually moving, I started to get things on pallets, started to get things loaded onto the trailer. I haven't been filming too much. I got kind of a timeline today, so I'm just kind of doing some, but I wanted to give you a little bit of a rundown here of how I'm doing this. I'm putting things onto pallets. I got a hoist here that I've been using to get machines onto the pallets. Then I'm banding them with some poly banding. And then if I have more space, I've been putting things around the machines, some cords, got my vacuum pump here and some other stuff, and then shrink wrapping everything. And I think that that's going to be a pretty good setup because I got a pallet jack here and I got a pallet jack at my other shop. So what I can do then is I could just load things with the skid steer on a trailer, unload them, and I can't get a skid steer into my other shop because it's got a wood floor. So I got to move things around by hand. So a pallet jack will allow me to just move the machines in and move them around while I'm still working on that shop because I don't have that space set up yet. I still got a lot of things to do in there. So this will be nice. I can keep things moving around. And even the smaller stuff. So I'm putting smaller stuff into totes. I'll show you here. So I'm putting smaller items, sandpaper and screws and other miscellaneous clamps and stuff into these totes. Then I'm going to put the totes on pallets, and then I will shrink wrap the totes to the pallets, and I can move those around the same way. Unfortunately, I couldn't really get that good of pallets, so these ones are not the best, but it's what I could find locally when I needed them, so it's what I got to use. Here I got my banding cart that I've been using to band everything. Luckily I already had that, I didn't have to buy it. I did have to buy another pallet jack because I only had the one pallet jack. In order to have one here, one there, I did have to buy another pallet jack. So that's been the process. I'll update you again when I got some other machines moved, but right now I'll just give you a look around. Just kind of what I got here. I got the rower tables gone. I got the spindle sander out of here. I didn't do much with the middle yet. I got the pegboards all cleaned off. Got all that gone. I got my plywood is all gone except for this one plywood cart that I'm going to sell because I don't think I want that in the new shop. And then I got this area kind of cleaned up too. I had the shaper cart. I got that out of here. So it's moving along. I think I can get this whole shop maybe in 3 loads or so. So that's the process. Right now I'm going to just keep on going. I don't think I'm going to film actually putting things onto the pallets and whatnot, but I'll give you updates as I get things moved, get things on pallets, and get things out of here. All right, I wanted to go over this a little bit more in detail on how I'm shrink wrapping some of these bigger machines and attaching them to pallets, because I do think it's important. I think if you just put this on the pallet, however, there could be an issue with maybe a foot breaking through the pallet or something like that. So what I've done, I kept this on the mobile base, but I put wood underneath the base that holds it up off so it's not on the wheels. I did that on both sides. And then I banded it to the pallet, and after I banded, I shrink wrapped it, and I made sure to shrink wrap it to the pallet and not just shrink wrap around the machine and not actually attaching it to the pallet. So I'll bring you in a little closer so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So here they got the shrink wrap going around the bottom of the pallet where it's twisted up, and it can't come off of here because I got it shrink wrapped around there. And here you can see a little bit of the board that's under here, kind of distributing this weight across the whole pallet rather than just this little wheel. You could have this wheel break through the pallet and then have the whole machine tip, and that would obviously be no good. Another thing I did was, since I got this banded to this first board can have a tendency to want to pull up. So I ran some screws in this to just help keep that board down, because if this board were to break and pull up, then my banding would no longer be tight. This is also going to get strapped, of course, with a ratchet strap down to the trailer, but I think it's important that it's well attached to the pallet itself too. Another thing that I did with these was I put this tape around the end of where my shrink wrap is. And I do this because I find that if you're going down the highway, the end can get loose and start to unravel, and before you know it, you have like a 10-foot long piece of your shrink wrap flopping in the wind, and then you start to lose the kind of structure of your shrink wrap. I kept all these little things on here, like these Allen wrenches and the key, because knowing myself, I would lose these if I didn't keep them with the machine. I think that just about covers how I'm doing these here. The bandsaw in particular is kind of a top-heavy item, so I tried to pay a little bit more attention to this. But hopefully this gives you a good idea in case you're thinking of putting your machines on pallets if you're trying to move something. I do think this is a good method. I think this works out good. I've moved a lot of machines like this before. This isn't my first shop move, so hopefully it all works out. If there's any problems, you'll know it for sure. What I got going on here, I borrowed this forklift from a family member, so I could have one here and one at the new shop. So this one that I'm running here, this one's not actually mine, so I just borrowed this one. You can't see in the video, but there's a ramp that's reasonably steep to actually get up into the shop here. This was my first load that I had brought over to the new shop. So here I just had a random pallet of things, and then I had that was the router tables there. This is the spindle sander and the pocket hole machine, then the bandsaw. Then this was my plywood cart that I had all wrapped up. I thought that was going to be really hard to move, but it actually ended up being not that bad. And then that last one, that's just the toolbox that I keep all my shaper cutters and stuff in. Here I can't actually go into the building because I got a wood floor, so this gives to carrying something that'd be way too heavy for the floor and the old floor for this to handle. So I'm kind of limited on what I can do here. Well, today is tomorrow, and I'm back. We're gonna take another trip today. I got some stuff already ready to go out. So let me show you. Let me show you what I got going on here. I got the workbench cleaned off, ready to go. The planer is banded, wrapped, ready to go. The joiner, banded, wrapped, ready to go. And the disc sander, as well as the mortiser, is wrapped and ready to go. So I'm going to take these 4 things out. I'm also going to try to get the edge sander today. I found a pallet that'll fit on. So I'm going to try to get that on the pallet after I get these things out. And then whatever else I have time for, I'm on a time crunch again today. So I'll set you up on time lapse and you can see me take this stuff out. So this load here was actually probably one of the easier loads. I didn't have anything really super top heavy or tippy or anything that was on wheels. So everything loaded up on this one and unloaded fairly easily. And I also didn't really load the trailer up all that much. I didn't have that much time this day to get more things on pallets. So I just took what I had. This next footage after this is I had lost the footage, but I did have some pictures of the next load of stuff that I had strapped to pallets and whatnot. So I had the shaper there. I had my chemicals like that, which worked out okay. And then this was my wife's glass fusing stuff. Today is day 5 of the move. I skipped, day number 3, I lost my footage somehow. And day 4, I was mainly just moving stuff outside, so I didn't really record much. But today, I think, will be the last day of taking bigger tools out of the shop. I gotta get the skid steer that I'm borrowing back in the next few days. So today, I gotta move the table saw, the lathe, the face frame table, and the 2 toolboxes. I've got several more tools packaged up and ready to go. I got the table saw on 2 pallets. I struggled for a while how I was going to do this, but I ended up putting 2 pallets side by side, putting 4 bands on it, 2 on each pallet, and shrink wrapping that, and that worked out pretty good. The outfeed table, all I did was shrink wrap this. It's on wheels, so I can get the forks under it, and I think that'll be all right as is. And then I got this 1 pallet of miscellaneous stuff. I put the miter saw, the hinge bore machine, my Tormac sharpener, most of my clamps, and a few other miscellaneous tools. I got the toolbox cart for the lathe and the sharpening stuff shrink wrapped. I also banded my longer clamps to that because they were a little bit long to put on a pallet. So I got those banded on there. So I'm gonna load all these up, and then all I have left to do is the big toolbox, the lathe, and the face frame table, and that'll be it for the rest of the big tools, and that'll be nice to get that out of the way and move on to just the smaller things that I don't need a skid steer and a big trailer for. This load that I'm loading now, this was actually the only load I really had any troubles with. The outfeed table, when I set that down on the trailer, it started rolling immediately and rolled off the edge of the trailer, which was no good. So, and the face frame table that I put on this load as well was hard to keep it strapped. Straps came off. This was the last load of some lumber, the air compressor, and then the skid steer that I borrowed when I brought that back. So it's been about a year now, and I'm still really haven't got my new shop set up. I was waiting to try to finish this video with the new shop kind of somewhat set up, but it doesn't seem like I'm going to get around to setting it up any more than it already is right now. So I'll show you what it looks like now, and then I'll have to do a different video sometime in the future when I get around to actually getting everything set up more proper than it is now. So I got kind of for a general layout, I just got things lined up here, and I kept them on pallets so I can move them out and use them should I need to. I've done a few small projects in here, but it's a huge mess, so it's really hard to get anything done. But I did get everything moved. Everything is in here. I can use it. I just have to run extension cords and work around the mess of all the stuff that's in here. But so that's pretty much that. That's the that about concludes the move part of the shop anyhow. I'm hoping to get this set back up again, hopefully this year, but if not, at least next year. This just hasn't been I haven't had the time, or I haven't had the money to get everything finished and set up. I've been focused on our land. I keep buying more and more land, and then that costs money, and then I keep working on it, which takes time. So a lot of my time and money's kind of been rerouted to doing that for now, but hopefully I'll get back into doing this again soon.